Good morning to all of you. Myself, Dr. Lakshman Gadekar, working as Assistant Professor in Chemistry, Vasant Dada Patil College, Patoda. I am here to discuss about the green chemistry. First, we will see the definition of green chemistry. Green chemistry focuses on process efficiency in terms of eliminating waste at source and avoid using or generating toxic substances. It means that avoid the use of toxic reactants and don't generate the toxic substances during the chemical reaction. Why do we need the green chemistry? Because chemistry is a very prominent part of our daily lives. We generally know that chemical developments also bring new environmental problems and harmful unexpected side effects, which result in the need for greener chemical products. Generally, green chemistry is about reducing waste which is produced as side products during the chemical reaction, reducing material which added extra on reactant side, reducing hazard by using safer chemicals. Green chemistry reducing risk by avoiding flammable and toxic materials. It reducing the energy which is required during the chemical reaction for heating, cooling, stirring, distillation, compression, pumping and separation. Green chemistry is about to reducing the cost by using low cost material. It means that green chemistry is economically and environmentally benign. Green chemistry follows the 12 principles. First one is prevention. We know that prevention is better than cure. It is better to prevent waste than to treat or clean up waste after it is formed. Second one is the atom economy. Synthetic methods should be designed to maximize the incorporation of all materials used in the process into the final products. Here we see that in the first reaction, 87% of the reactant present in the product and its atom efficiency is 87%. But in the second reaction, the same product is formed, but only 42% of the atoms incorporate in the product. So its atom efficiency is 42%, means it generates the maximum waste as the side product. The third principle is less hazardous chemical synthesis. Whenever practicable, synthetic methodologies should be designed to use and generate substances that possesses little or no toxicity to human health and the environment also. The fourth principle is designing safer chemicals. Chemical products should be designed to preserve efficacy of the function while reducing the toxicity. The fifth principle is safer solvents and auxiliaries. The use of auxiliary substances such as solvents, separation agents, etc. should be made unnecessary whenever possible and when used innocuous. Here we see that the table of solvent selection. Here some chemicals are given in the preferred list, means that solvent should be used for the research and it is not harmful to the environment and it is not hazardous for the handling also. Here some are the usable chemicals during the chemical reaction that is maximum used, and here the last one table is undesirable solvents, means researchers should avoid that solvents during the chemical reaction because it creates the harmfulness, hazardness and it creates the problem to the global warming also. So the next sixth principle is design for energy efficiency. Energy requirement should be recognized for their environmental and economic impact and should be minimized. Synthetic methods should be conducted at ambient temperature and pressure. Here we see that first we should know the energy required for the reaction, because the energy required during the reaction for the heating, cooling, stirring, distillation, compression, pumping, and separation. But that energy in the form of electricity that uh, burn the fossil fuels, and it creates the carbon dioxide to the atmosphere, which is responsible for the global warming. The next principle, that is the seventh principle, is use of renewable feedstock. A raw material or feedstock should be renewable rather than depleting whenever technically and economically practical. Resource depletion due to the overutilization of non-renewable resources, natural resources are being depleted at an unsustainable rate. Nowadays, fossil fuels are the central issue. The eighth principle, that is the reduce derivatives, unnecessary derivatization, blocking groups, protection, deprotection, temporary modification of physical chemical processes should be avoided during the chemical reaction whenever possible. The ninth principle is catalysis. Catalytic reagents, as selective as possible, are superior to stoichiometric reagents also. The tenth principle is design for degradation. Chemical products should be designed so that at the end of their function they break down into innocuous degradation products and do not persist in the environment. The 11th principle is real-time analysis for pollution prevention. Analytical methodologies need to be further developed to allow for real-time in-process monitoring and control prior to the information of hazardous substances. And the 12th principle is that inherently safer chemistry for accident prevention. Substance and the form of substance used in the chemical process should be chosen so as to minimize the potential for chemical accidents, including releases, explosion, and fires. And the conclusion of this PowerPoint is green chemistry not a solution to all environmental problems, but the most fundamental approach to preventing the pollution. It means green chemistry, it is the part of chemistry which is reducing the hazard